once they get that thing out, how long does it take to put that ROM 25 together?
It don't go together overnight. I mean, it's taking a little while.
Now they put the sections together, or do they use a gin pole, or how do they anchor it?
I've never set that up. I have no idea what it is. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know where to put that at right now. Where it is fine.
I think the thing they did when they designed this was they almost made it completely dummy-proof. It is.
You know, one thing I did.
Okay, so
Feed them there.
okay.
You had to go do the yard because his mom was called his dad.
Got it?
Yeah, look at
All right, you good to go?
I'm good to go. It's going to bump a little bit.
I just get it.
If it don't work one way, just keep turning it, it'll fall in.
Okay.
Wiggle
Push
it
it
on
from the
in.
back. Push her.
Some more wiggle.
There we go. There we go. Field Day is a nationwide contest / emergency readiness exercise held by the ARRL in the month of June, usually the third weekend. And what it is we come out, bring our equipment, set up, and participate in this contest like we are preparing or running for a disaster. And the idea is to make as many contacts in a 24-hour period as possible and to score the highest amount of points from the contest side. Ham radio during an emergency, one like we had last year with tornadoes, we use our mobile radios in our vehicles to spot storms and to help the National Weather Service with tracking of tornadoes on the ground. In a situation like Field Day where we're at here now would be something similar to an aftermath of a Katrina when there were no communications up, and we would bring our HF equipment or high frequency equipment out and set it up and use it to communicate from inside the disaster area to the outside world, passing health and welfare traffic and aligning the disaster people coming in, helping them get to where they're supposed to be, And we would also set up our VHF communication system to aid the police, the fire, civil defense in communication during the disaster. Hams generally technically minded people usually don't have to be. They just have to be someone who cares about their community, someone who's civic minded, wants to help. That's what got me started after 9/11. I looked around. I was ex-military, too old to do anything in that respect, so I looked for a way to help. Anybody from high school age kids, even younger. We have hams as young as 8. Our national ham of the year from a couple years ago was from here, and she was in junior high school, I believe, and still is. Anybody that wants to help that can pass the tests.
Well, this is my first field day, and I originally got into it by my grandfather. He's been a ham for years. He's got his general, so he's gotten me into it, and so I find meeting everybody really cool. Just getting to talk to people from all over the world. What other way are you going to meet people from Australia or anywhere, or even talk to the space station?
You hope to learn by watching these older veterans?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they've been here for how many years? They've got hundreds of years of experience between them all, so if I get to learn something new, that'd be great.
Well, basically, what it helps us do is kind of trains us a little bit to know what pieces of equipment, what antennas, what works, when it works, how it works, and put it all together. So I mean, if you were under a pretty severe situation, being able to take any piece of radio equipment, find a piece of wire and make an antenna, that's part of our theory that we need to know in taking getting our license, is how to make antennas, simple wire antennas that you can string up in a tree and hook up to a radio and you're ready to go. Satellite's a little different. It's a little bit more complicated because satellites are moving, frequencies are changing, so this is probably by far the most complex operation that you'll see out here at field day. On field day it gets busy, and you can see some years we came out here, you had people controlling the antennas, and you had somebody else messing with the radio dials, probably the guy operating, and it gets confusing sometimes. And so there's a lot of things to take care of. And then we have a digital controller on top here for digital communications. Hopefully we'll get linked up with the ISS, International Space Station, today. And they just changed their operating frequencies from 2 meters to 70 centimeters. The signal's a lot weaker, so you have to have a little bit higher gain antenna to hear that. So we hope to get that. There was one year we were out here, we actually contacted, I don't know whether it's the space station or the Mir space station or ISS. 30 minutes before field day as we were testing our equipment. Guy gets on and calls, and we called him back, "Hey, Huntsville, I did my training there." And that was pretty cool to open up field day with talking to one of the astronauts as they went out. When I get out of field days, I get a weekend to operate because I don't get to operate all year long. This is my only time of the year. Since field day last year, I've set up my satellite equipment, brought it out here, and communicated for 24 hours and made contact. So it's kind of nice just to have that time, kind of solace, and get to work with it, because I probably won't get to mess with this again until next year about this time.
Field day began, and the reasoning behind it at that time, and it's still true, was that it is an emergency preparedness exercise that's aimed at showing that hams really can mobilize their equipment and get stations on the air under their own power in general, like we are here with generators, in a short period of time. So you have a day to set up here before you operate. You can't set up 3 weeks beforehand. It's a day. The contest aspect of it, I think, has two purposes. One is to make it fun and make it competitive so that people are going to be interested in it. But the other thing is to show quantitatively that you're really able to get out. So a station that has had contacts with all the sections in, you know, the U.S. and Canada and so on has demonstrated that indeed they're able to get out for, you know, communications up to a couple of thousand miles. And so that's kind of the gist of it. Now, you know, every field day operation has its own history and its own stories and all that. K4BFT's been doing it for I don't know how many years. The club's been in existence for, you know, almost 60 years. Well, 60 years this year, yeah. And I suspect that we've been doing field day probably 45 of those anyway. And so it's a pretty serious yearly event for this station. Field day demonstrates the ham's ability to communicate and to do all the stuff that led up to that. Now it doesn't, the flavor of the contacts are not emergency related. Okay, so there's no traffic that looks remotely like emergency traffic. Nonetheless, you've done everything up to that, you know. And so I would say for those hams that are interested in proving to themselves that they really can, you know, can I contribute to getting these stations set up? Can I contribute maybe as an operator to passing, you know, to making QSOs, even though we're not passing messages that look like emergency traffic? Then I think, yes, everyone who contributes to it does have the opportunity at least to get that sort of sense of accomplishment.
So to make a contact, we're going to come over here. You're going to call CQ Field Day, CQ Field Day from N7KDT, November 7 Kilo Delta Tango, go to station. Go to stands for get on the air. All right, we're going to listen, and then what you're hunting for is for someone to call back to you, and then you're going to say that call sign, and you're going to say your 4 Alpha, take a breath, Alabama. All right, here we are. We're starting off, so.
It's CQ Field Day, CQ Field Day from N7KDT, November 7 Kilo Delta, Tango, GOTA Station. CQ Field Day, CQ Field Day from N7KDT, November 7 Kilo Delta, Tango, GOTA Station.
Whiskey Zero station, go. Whiskey Zero station only, please. QRZ Field Day from Kilowatt 4, Big Fat Turkey. Whiskey Alpha 8 station, go. One more time on the last 3 of the call. We'll get this eventually. I'm sorry, oh man, I can't get you. I can't dig you out of the noise. Try again later. QRZ Field Day from Kilowatt 4, Bravo Fox Tango.